Hey everyone, Chris Gio here, coming at you once again from Beyond the Veil. Many people ask, how do you exorcise demons? How do you remove negative emotional energies? How do you clear negative energies? This information is not necessarily just for ayahuasca or DMT, but rather it's for day-to-day use. So let's talk about protection right on the other side. A lot of people are worried about encountering negative emotional energies or demons and dealing with them in the ayahuasca realm. Well, if you missed the video, my encounter with demons on ayahuasca, please check that out on my channel. But I broke down two different types of demons. The first type of demon is the inner demons, and that's our negative emotional energies and childhood traumas and things like that. And you don't want to expel those. You want to confront those, fight those, and conquer those. Big difference. But we do have these attachments every once in a while. They kind of follow us around. They could be external sources, or they could be our emotions that just start to pile up within us and manifest themselves into something else. And then you also have negative intentions that can be sent your way. And people would refer to this as like black magic or negative magic or spiritual attacks and so on and so forth. So I want to talk about these three different ways to combat these energies. And later on in the video, I also want to talk about some of the tools that I use and some of the amulets and things like that. So the first thing that I would say is, first and foremost, you have to keep your shields up at all times. At the beginning, it's going to take a little bit of practice to manifest a shield and to keep that around you 24/7. But after a certain period of time, that shield begins to stay, and you don't really have to focus on it very much anymore at that point. It's good to energize it from time to time, but you don't have to focus on it as frequently. But at the very beginning, you need to do this about 2, 3, 4 times a day, whatever your spirit's telling you. But you meditate. And just to preface it, let me just say that meditation and ayahuasca are two completely different paths. Meditation is about control. Ayahuasca is about releasing control. But I'll do a video about that at a later time. But in this particular type of meditation, you do definitely want to focus on your intention. And your intention in this case is to create that shield around you. So you begin to see this bubble wrapping around you. And the color is going to vary based on the color and energy that you're radiating on or resonating with. And my particular energy bubble is blue. I don't know why. Most people's are white. But you start to fill this bubble with all this positive and loving intention. And you focus on removing any kind of negativity that may be inside of that bubble. So you're separating yourself from any of the negativity. But the main focus is this bubble around you. This bubble on the outside has a reflective surface. And the reflective surface is very, very important. But you can, first of all, start by picturing maybe like a mirror surface. And what this does is it allows positive energy to come into your bubble, pass through you, and is also reflected back to the person sending it. It does the same for negative energy, except it doesn't allow it to come through. So if somebody has negative intentions and they're constantly sending you negative energy, it's hitting your bubble, it's hitting your shield, and it's bouncing right back to them. And I have found in my time that people that send us negative energy and they don't stop, bad things happen to them. And it's not that we're doing anything proactively to make bad things happen to them. But if you're going to send negative intentions and negative energies to somebody and they have these type of shields in place, they're going to start to feel the effects of all the negative energy that they're trying to send to you. Likewise, the positive energy. When people send positive energy, they're getting positive energy back because of these types of shields that you have put up. So those people just naturally continue to send you positive energy because they feel like, wow, when I send them positive energy, I get positive energy back. So it works in a perfect balance to deflect and reflect the appropriate energy back to the sender, which in my opinion is key. I mean, you shouldn't send bad energy to anybody. You shouldn't send bad intentions to anybody, but people do because people suck. There's no other way to look at it. But the more bad energy that somebody sends your way, the more that they start to fall and spiral into this type of demise. And it relieves you of any type of karma as well, because you don't have to worry about any negative karma coming back from sending back that negative energy because you didn't send it in the first place. Now, here's where the karmic repercussions come in though. If you decide you're going to send additional negative energy with it back to that person, that's the karma that you have to deal with. So this type of shield and protection creates a perfect bubble and a perfect balance of karma, in my opinion, of course. And so far, so good with working on this shield. And you want to focus on creating this about 2 to 3 minutes. 5 minutes is good, but I know that we're so pressed for time and things just seem to be moving so quickly in this day and age. It's like the days are like 10 hours now instead of 24. So we don't have time. Everything's got to move really fast. So just focus on it for 2-3 minutes at a time, and do it 2 or 3 times a day, if not 4 times a day. Do it right when you wake up, maybe in the middle of the day, maybe when you come home and you're relaxing and you're going to sleep. It's a great protection method to start out with. And then you can start to add to those shields. You can add these, rings of fire, or you can add, all kinds of stuff. I mean, just get imaginative with the barriers that you're creating around yourself. And you can actually put these shields upon people you love too. You can put these shields upon your business. You can put these shields upon your house. You can put these shields pretty much anywhere. And I've been working on my shield for about 10 years, and it's pretty strong. So I can tell you that the only time anybody's able to get through my shield is when I'm really not paying attention. But once I realize, oh crap, somebody's sending negative energy and it's gotten through my shield, I can always pick myself up and bring myself back up to a place of strengthening my shields. And strengthening your shields and sharpening your sword is very, very important as you #become your own shaman. So once you set up your shields, then you can start to utilize different material objects that you can incorporate into your spiritual path as you #become your own shaman. With me, certain amulets and symbols radiate an energy, and it helps me better focus my energy. But it's important to remember that these symbols and these amulets, they don't necessarily have any power by themselves. It's the intention that you're putting into them. And the symbols and amulets ultimately are a representation of the energy itself. So I'll give you an example. I always wear some type of Egyptian symbol around my neck. And here's the one right here that I'm wearing now. And if anybody can tell me what it means in the comments section, I would love to hear it. Obviously, I know what it means. I'm just wondering who can see beyond the veil. But what happens is, as I wear this around my neck, it's a reminder that I have to be the shaman. It's a reminder that I've already gone through #become your own shaman, and that I have to live the higher path, and that I have to walk from that higher path and speak from the higher perspective as well. We're all human. We all fall right back. And I do want to talk about the pendulum swinging the other way, the long dark night of the soul, and the battle with the ego. That's coming, I promise. And it will be coming in very soon in very future videos. But it's a reminder every single day that you've gone through a transformation, or you're going through a transformation. And it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, you can have anything that resonates with you. It doesn't have to be Egyptian. It could be a crucifix, for example. But as I talked about in previous videos, the crucifix is kind of a dark symbol, so it may not be the best for your path. Downstairs, I have Isis, and this is just hanging on the wall. And the way that I see the energy is I see the energy radiating out from her wings, spreading throughout the house and protecting the home. But this is nothing more than a piece of ceramic. That's it. It has no special power. It has nothing like that. But it's the representation of the energy and a way to focus the energy that is the reason why I have it hanging in the living room. And as a matter of fact, every time I walk by, I think, am I representing her properly? Am I living in balance with the divine feminine and divine masculine? Am I operating as her warrior? So for me, it's a particular reminder as to who I am and where I've come from. So the next thing I want to talk about is like sage and frankincense. So in order to clear out negative energies, sage is a really good thing to do. And before any ceremony, we always sage the entire space and we sage the entire house. As a matter of fact, right behind me, we have our sage stick, and we have more downstairs. Actually, I have another one right here. But we usually have it in a little shell like this. And what we do, whether we're making ayahuasca or just clearing out energies, is we'll light it and then go around the house and do a little blessing. Cherie's the one that does the blessing. And the reason why I don't want to tell you the blessing is because the blessing should come from your heart. It should be your own personal blessing. But what you can do with the sage is open up all the doors and all the windows and command all negative energies and all energies that don't have a good intention for you to leave out of the window. They're not welcome in your home. And the sage may or may not have power in and of itself. You know, I'm still kind of on the fence about this. I think that the power lays inside of you. I think what the sage does is the smoke creates a representation of your intention and your energy. But I could be wrong on that, because my second go-to is, I don't know where I put it. My second go-to is frankincense. And I can't find the actual frankincense itself, but it's little small rocks like this. And when I'm dealing with a really, really heavy energy, I turn to frankincense. And this came from Jeffrey Seelman, who has been an exorcist for about 40 years and has worked to clear out so many negative energies. He told me, you know, sage is good. It's like a machine gun. This is like a nuclear bomb to them. I mean, you light this up and they're out of here. The reason I don't like to work with frankincense too much, though, is it's such a heavy smoke that it gets in your lungs and really just fogs up the entire house, especially when Cherie lights it up and leaves it. I'll walk downstairs and the whole house is like completely covered in smoke. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm clearing out the energy. I'm like, yeah, you're clearing everything out, sweetie. So, again, you can use the frankincense in the exact same way that you use a sage. And you take it around the house and tell all the negative energies to leave. For some reason, I'm drawn to the figure 8. Maybe it's infinity, but that's the way that I move my incense when I'm doing clearings. But again, the thing about hashtag become your own shaman, it really means that. It means become your own shaman. It doesn't mean emulate what I'm doing. It doesn't mean do the exact same thing that I'm doing. It means become your own shaman. And so you're going to find your own way to work with this. You're going to find your own way to do your clearing. And you're going to find what works best for you. It may not even be sage or frankincense. It could be something completely different that resonates with you. But sage is typically the go-to. So now that I've shown you some of the protection and how to use some of the amulets as well, I want to talk to you briefly about encountering actual entities and parasites within the astral and how to remove these. So there are 4 types of entities that I've encountered that are negative, that suck upon your energetic body or the energetic body of other people as well. These are astral parasites, actual ride-along disembodied energies, or maybe even demons. There are the larger, like, boss type entities that are the really, really big ones. And then you have Yahweh too. Yahweh is the biggest one, and I'll talk briefly about Yahweh as well in this video. But I did cover a lot of this in previous videos and the my encounter with ayahuasca demons. So the first one is the astral parasites, and we pick these up literally everywhere we go in this third dimension, especially if you're single, for example, and you're having sex with a few different people. A lot of people that you have sex with can transmit these astral parasites. Astral parasites can also be transmitted via alcohol, drug use, things like that. That's why I'm very, very clear about what I put into my consciousness. I use cannabis and plants, and it's very, very rare that I'll use a synthetic hallucinogen, but at times I might. If I'm feeling like I just want to just hang out and maybe watch Rick and Morty or something like that, as opposed to like go in there and actually do serious work. But these astral parasites, when you identify them in the astral, you'll see the astral body just with these little bugs all over them. And these things aren't necessarily negative beings. They're about as negative as a tick is or as a leech is. I mean, they're not nefarious. They do what ticks do. They do what leeches do. They suck energy. And I saw these little bugs. They're like little ladybugs, and they get onto an astral body and they just num 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 num. And what I did is I took my light sword and made a little bubble around them and made the bubble carry them off away. I don't know where they go after that, but that's what I was told to do and how to clear these particular little astral parasites. But you can imagine that if you go to somebody and you say, hey, I need you to clear me, and you're running around not living the way you're supposed to be living, you could have hundreds of these. And it can take whoever's clearing you so much time and effort to get all these little bugs off of you. And if you're just going to go run and jump right back into the dumpster right after that, then it's kind of pointless. The next level of little bugs that I encountered, and these are a little bit bigger than bugs, are kind of like these moth type entities, but they don't have wings. They look like moths, but they have this fleshy kind of shell on them. And when I first saw them on an astral body, I thought, wow, these are actually kind of pretty. They have like a really pretty kind of pattern on them, but they're not like psychedelic and not colorful, but rather they're brown and black and like earth type colors. And these things, again, they get onto a body and just num, 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 num on the energy. Not necessarily bad entities, but just they do what they do, which is suck energy. But these things can vary in size. They can be, little bitty, or they can take up half of the light body. I mean, I've seen some huge ones. And they tend to travel in groups. So if you've got one, you've probably got more than one. And you start to feel lethargic. You start to feel depressed. I think a lot of the depression that people are experiencing is because they have all of these astral parasites just num 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 on their astral bodies. And a lot of times you don't even realize it. You just wake up and you're like, oh man, I feel like crap. I don't know what's going on. I don't have any motivation. I don't have this or that. It could be that you have these particular type of astral parasites. The other type that I've encountered are these disembodied spirits, or perhaps they come from another realm. But when you encounter these actually take on the form of a human, or not a human, that's not a good word. They have legs and arms. They look like another astral body, but they have this darkness to them. And sometimes you can see like a human form or a human presence. And there was this one young child I was working on, and behind this young child was this really sinister, evil looking man. And I had to go in there and wrap this child up in a lot of protective energy and disconnect that man entity from this child. And this entity was just tormenting this child. Just, I guess they feed upon the negative emotional energy. They feed upon the fear. They feed upon making people feel like crap. But sometimes they ride along with people and people make contracts with them, and they kind of create kind of a union and a bond. So a lot of times people are affected by these negative energies, and they just don't even want to believe it because they like that frequency. And then you have these large, large, large entities. But I guess I should tell you how to clear out the actual people first. You have to build up to this particular level in order to see these actual physical demons that reside on the other side, and to definitely be able to clear them. Because the ayahuasca first, it's not going to show you these other entities until you're ready to handle them and combat them. And it's kind of like a training level that you go through where you get your light sword, you get your wings, you know, you become a warrior. It shows you how to clear, it shows you all of these things. But then there's some realms that are kind of like training. It's not actually real. You're not really fighting real entities, but it's showing you this is how you clear this is how you clear that. And with these particular entities, the human disembodied type of entities, you sometimes have to physically take your light sword and cut that thing's head off. And sometimes it does not like that. A lot of times they can just grow in front of you as well when you're trying to remove them. But the point is to try to keep that astral body wrapped up in a safe energy and disconnected as much as you can from that energy that's affecting it. And you can banish that particular type of energy into another realm, and usually into a lower dimension where it came from or where it deserves to vibrate based on its signature and its resonance. So in that particular case, I've dealt with more than one of those little pesky little buggers. But the most important thing to remember is that you can't live in fear, because if you're living in fear and you're scared of all these entities, that's how they thrive. They thrive on the fear. And we have an entire religious population that are so worried about demons and entities that they don't recognize their own divinity. And they don't recognize the power that they have within themselves. And these entities are just kind of sitting back going, oh, great. We've got somebody living in fear here. We're going to go attach to them and num, 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 num on all their energy. So we had this whole thing that happened with the pizza and the kids back in December. And I don't want to tag my video with this particular energy, so I'm not going to say the name. But during this time, you had people that were obsessed with hurting children. They didn't realize they were obsessed with hurting children. They thought that they were getting the truth out there. But in actuality, they were filling their consciousness with all of these horrible acts committed against children. I was guilty of it too. I thought I was exposing it. We started making a film about it. And I realized at that point that my entire light body had turned into a freaking dumpster. It was nasty. It was horrible. And I thought, man, I can't drink ayahuasca. I can't travel to the other realms. I can't do anything. I need to clear myself out first of all this energy. And I decided that I need to walk away from that project completely. And other people can handle that. But we didn't get obsessed with it. What was happening is, as we were going through this, I started to become sick to my stomach. And I hated working on the project. It wasn't like, oh, give me more, give me more, give me more, give me all the gory details, give me all of this. And a lot of people actually are experiencing that. Give me all the gory details, and they don't even realize it. So what happens when you are obsessed with hurting children? Think about that. Because you think you might be doing something good, but in actuality, you are really hurting your own self and giving in to these negative energies. And the religious people are the most guilty about this. And that's why they're able to walk around and just be kind of horrible people to each other. Somebody just told me the other day that I'm going to hell to burn forever because I'm drinking ayahuasca. I mean, that's torture for eternity. It's the most horrible torture that you can imagine. Why would you tell somebody something like that? I mean, it blows my mind. And they do it and they think that they're righteous in doing it. That's how these energies get in. They go around and they spread the fear. They spread the hate. They make the person feel righteous about it. Meanwhile, they're feeding upon all of this, and they're feeding upon all the hate that this person is spreading. I mean, a lot of the mentality of the religious people is that I'm going to sit back and I'm going to be laughing at everybody out there while they're burning in hell. You're a horrible person if you think like that. I'm sorry, but there's no other way to look at it. So that's how these particular entities operate. But what opens the door is the Yahweh energy. The Yahweh is the one that really is the true enemy of this. I'll get into that here in just a moment. But then you have these much larger Yahweh type energies. And to me, Yahweh appears as a giant squid octopus type of energy. And it has hundreds and thousands of tentacles, and it wraps its tentacles all around the light body. It goes into the mind. It wraps itself around the mind. It's like a snake going through lungs, for example. Imagine that. That's the perfect motif for it. And or an octopus with all of its tentacles all around a light body. And the Yahweh energy actually acts as a puppet and can puppeteer certain people. Now, they don't just, you don't have demons that just take over your body and that's it. But this Yahweh energy can actually move a player around in this computer simulation and make them do some of the most horrible things and think that they're living righteously. So this is one of the reasons why I'm so opposed to this Yahweh energy, but also where this Yahweh energy came from. But I have seen Yahweh type energies wrapped around astral bodies. So I was working with this girl, and I mentioned her in a previous video, and she's wrapped up completely in the Yahweh energy right now. But she was wanting to clear herself from this energy, but my guides were telling me she's going to run back right back into it. I took her astral body, laid it down, and I started unwrapping every single tentacle. Every single tentacle, every single tentacle. And it took me hours and hours and hours to do this. I was using my light sword to cut as much as I could and clear as much as I could. And I started wrapping her around in all of this positive energy. And she was broken, just completely just cut up and torn up because of this Yahweh energy that had infected her so badly. And I took her astral body into this machine that my guides allow me to use in order to reconstruct and heal a light body. And I want to talk about talking to the guides in future videos, because there will come a time when the guides start to give you other things, other gnosises and things like that. But don't expect that right off the bat. You know, that's most important. So I took her and put her in this machine, and my guides were like sitting back and going, "You're not supposed to be doing that. She's going to run right back into it. You're not going to do it." And I remember looking at one of them in the astral and saying, "You know what? I'm going to do this because I really care about this person." Put her in there, and she walked right back into it. She is so far into the clutches of this Yahweh energy now that it's sad. But I did put her body in the machine. So there's so many different methods for clearing these energies out, but the ayahuasca is only going to show you what you're ready for. It's going to turn you into a warrior. You'll be able to clear energies. You'll be able to do all this, but first you have to face your own demons and deal with your own bullshit. And then you have the Yahweh energy, the Yahweh virus. Back in 2012, I had a vision of our construct, and the ayahuasca showed me a hole ripped inside of our matrix. Within that hole was this huge eye looking in like that. And it was this big reptilian eye, very similar to the cover of the 1998 Godzilla movie. Just this pulsing reptilian eye, and I could see the scales around the eye as well. And it was trying to break into our construct. But what it was doing is allowing one drop of its soul essence to come in through this hole, one at a time. And this hole was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is when I first started talking about the Yahweh virus. I take that back. It wasn't 2012. I want to say it was around 2014 that I had these revelations. So it showed me the enemy. It showed me what we have to do here. We have to close that hole and expel all of this negative energy, because we live in a world of duality. We live in light and dark, up and down, left and right, man and woman, and that's fine. But if we have an unnatural darkness that seeks to destroy and control this entire construct, that's unnatural and goes against the very foundation of what this construct is for, which is to be a university. So this Yahweh energy was revealed. In January of 2017, I read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. And I had so many people sending me emails saying, read it, read it, read it. And I just wouldn't for some reason. I finally picked it up. One day I was flipping through YouTube and I saw the Emerald Tablets of Thoth read, and I clicked on it and started listening to a little bit of it. And I ordered a copy right then and there. And I said, wow, this is incredible. Everything that I was shown in the ayahuasca realm about this Yahweh energy coming into this sphere was right there in the tablets, and or right there in the emerald tablets. And essentially what happened is that the humans got a hold of one of Thoth's machines and tried to use it as a weapon. Maybe it has to do with the same machine that I put this woman's astral body in. I don't know, but it just got a hold of his machine. When they opened it up and tried to use it as a weapon, it ripped a hole in this construct, which allowed all the lower dimensional entities to come up into the higher dimensional realms. And these lower dimensional entities, they couldn't function inside of this higher dimension, so they had to go infect bodies, and they had to go infect astral bodies and wrap themselves around with all their tentacles and try to embed themselves within the astral bones of the bodies as much as possible to make removing them as hard as possible. And it's all this one Yahweh energy that has taken over this construct. So when I put the two together, I said, holy crap, this is what we're here for. This is what we're called to do. We need to close that hole. And together, by shining the lights, by hashtag become your own shaman, many people are activated into hearing these higher callings. And just by lighting up, we are rebalancing everything. So it doesn't mean that you have to jump into the realm and start combating demons and evil spirits and all of this. It doesn't mean any of that. What it means is that you have to heal yourself. You have to deprogram yourself as well, and heal from all of the traumas and everything of the world. And then poof, your light starts to shine. And we all shine these lights together. And while these lights are shining, this hole starts to close and close and close and close and close itself, and expel all of this negative darkness. But the Yahweh virus is, like I said, the biggest demon that there is, and it's time to combat this thing. It's time to expel this negative energy, and it's time to shine the light in the darkness. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So I want to tell you about one more type of clearing that if you're watching this video up to this point, then you probably need to see this. But those who have already stopped the video, they're not going to get the information, and that's fine. They may come back to it later, but this is strictly for those of you who are still watching this video. Back in 2015, I went through this transformation, and I became the Eagle. My middle name is actually Soaring Eagle. And this Native American lady approached me, and she gave me an eagle feather, and she says, I need to show you how to do this clearing. And I didn't realize how much she would affect my journey, and how much she would confirm that the eagle was the path that I'm walking down. About 2 weeks prior to that, an eagle came to one of my visions and sat in front of me and said, you need to watch how I fly, how I see, how I hunt, because I am you and you are me. And in perfect synchronicity, she gave me this eagle feather and showed me this particular type of clearing. The eagle feather is such a powerful conduit for the energy that is being expelled from you in order to combat whatever energy that you're dealing with. But in my particular opinion, or my particular case, I should say, I use this to clear very heavy Yahweh energies. Now, I only use it on somebody that has a clear aura that may be infected, not somebody with a darker aura. And I won't even touch it if I'm dealing with a certain negative energy. So, I'll give you an example. The girl that I was talking to you about, after I cleared her, some of that energy got attached to me, and I went through some turmoil for about 2 weeks. I finally called Jeffrey Seelman, who cleared me. I mean, I knew how to clear other people. I knew how to combat a lot of these energies, but this energy was so nasty that it got attached to me. And Jeffrey helped remove that. But if I ever clear somebody and I've got the negativity attached to me and I can't get it off, I won't touch this eagle feather. That's, nobody actually has touched this feather except for me. Cherie hasn't touched it either. She has her own downstairs. And we have a third one as well for somebody else that we're waiting for. But what I did is I cut a hole, I drilled a hole right through it and created a little thing to hang it up on the wall. So what I do is I'll take this eagle feather and I'll allow the energy to go all the way through the eagle feather, and it goes down into the light body in a way to where it can wrap itself around. The energy can wrap itself around as it's going through like this and create that same type of wrapping that the Yahweh energy wraps itself around with, and follows that Yahweh energy all the way around, breaking that down and clearing that up and causing that stronghold to loosen within that astral body and release that person who it has a grasp on. So the eagle feather is a very, very powerful tool, even though, again, it's in dispute on whether the eagle feather is a tool or just the representation of the eagle feather, with which resonates so much with me, that allows me to be able to move the energies like that very efficiently. So if you ever come across an eagle feather, it's definitely, in my opinion, an omen and a sign that it's yours, or that the energy is coming to you. You don't go out looking for one, though. They have a tendency to find you. We received 3 eagle feathers in the span of about 2 weeks. The lady gave me this, and then my neighbor came up to me out of the blue, and he says, "I have 2 eagle feathers I want to give you." And then my niece was over, and my neighbor came up to me and gave me a baby eagle feather, and he said, "Hey, I just had the feeling like I need to give this to you." And so I gave it to my niece, 3 years old, and told my sister to keep it safe until she's old enough where I can teach her how to use it. But the eagle feather clearing is a very, very powerful clearing, and I would also go so far as to say that the eagle feather is a very powerful form of protection as well. So I hope that you've gotten something out of these videos, and I hope that you've stuck around long enough to check out the ending of these videos. Please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. All this tells YouTube that this information is something that people resonate with, and it tricks the AI into putting it in the suggested results in other people's feeds. And so the message just continues to grow and grow and grow. And people watch it just by, oh, what's suggested? Okay, well, let's check this out. Oh, hashtag become your own shaman. What's this? Oh, yeah, I'm broken too. Oh, crap. This guy's trying to show me how to unbreak myself. Fantastic. And so the message starts to spread more and more and more. And thank you to everybody who has subscribed and commented and liked, and everybody that sent us emails for the ayahuasca guide. We've really, the energy exchange and the energy flow is just absolutely incredible. And we've got much more coming up here on Beyond the Veil. So kiss the one you love right now. You never know when the last time is going to be. And we'll see you next time as we step even further beyond the veil.